Mr. Nice is the autobiography of former drug dealer Howard Marks. Published in 1996, it became an international bestseller due in large part to the humor the author uses to describe his life and the sheer scale of his drug deals involving, amongst others, the CIA, MI6, the IRA, and the Mafia. The book received mostly positive reviews, though some critics were initially skeptical of some of the details portrayed. It was adapted for film in 2010 as Mr. Nice. Dennis Howard Marks was a Welsh drug smuggler and author who achieved notoriety as an international cannabis smuggler through high-profile court cases. Marks was born in Canfield Hill, near Bridgend. He was a fluent Welsh speaker. He gained a place at Balliol College, Oxford, and read physics there from 1964 to 1967. At the university he was first introduced to cannabis by some friends. Through a mixture of cheating and last-minute cramming he passed his exams. In 1967 he began teacher training and married a student at St. Anne's College, Oxford. He gave up teacher training to continue his education at the University of London, then back to Balliol, and then on to the University of Sussex to study philosophy of science. Though involved with drugs at university, he sold cannabis only to his friends or acquaintances until 1970, when he was persuaded to assist Graham Plinston, who had been arrested in Germany on drug trafficking charges. Through Plinston, he met Mohammed Durrani, a Pakistani hashish exporter who was a descendant of the Duranis who had run Afghanistan in the 19th century. With Plinston behind bars, Durrani offered the opportunity to sell the drug on a larger scale in London, and he agreed to the proposition. Marks expanded his enterprise, employing two friends from Wales. The gang became dissatisfied with the way the profits were being split and contacted James McCann, a gun runner for the Provisional Irish Republican Army. By 1972, he was making 50,000 with each shipment. By the end of the year, he was approached by Hamilton Macmillan of the Secret Intelligence Service, a friend from Oxford University, who recruited Marks to work for MI6 because of his connections in the hashish-producing countries of Lebanon, Pakistan, and Afghanistan, for his ability to seduce women, and for his contacts with the IRA. The next year, Marks began exporting cannabis to the United States to the Brotherhood of Eternal Love, hiding the drugs in the music equipment of fictional British groups that were supposed to be touring to the country. He expanded his operation with other smugglers and other methods of trafficking, often using his Oxford connections. Marks then connected Ernie Combs, member of the Brotherhood of Eternal Love, with a man with connections in the hashish-producing nation of Nepal. With the help of the Yakuza, large quantities of the drug would be exported to the John F. Kennedy International Airport in the guise of the air conditioning equipment, where the New York Mafia would then take the possession of the drugs. At his peak, he claimed to have been smuggling consignments of the drug as large as 30 tons and was connected with many groups. He was eventually convicted by the American Drug Enforcement Administration and handed a 25-year sentence to be served at Terre Haute. He was released in April 1995 after serving 7 years. Mr. Nice is a 2010 British-Spanish crime drama. Directed by Bernard Rose, Mr. Nice is in part a biopic due to it being a loose film adaptation. The film features an ensemble cast starring Ray Ifans as Howard Marks. The film begins in 2010, with a 65-year-old Howard Marks going on a stage in front of a packed theater to great applause. Marks asks if there are any plainclothes policemen set in the audience, to which the reply is negative. After Howard Marks' 1997 autobiography Mr. Nice became a bestseller and Marks began to make a name for himself in a number of different media, a film adaptation of the book was petitioned. In the development hell, For over a decade, the production of the film was an eventual collaboration between a number of smaller studios, such as Independent Productions, Kanzman Productions SL, Severe Pictures, Prescience, Lip Sync Productions, and the Wales Creative IP Fund. Howard Marks was himself the main consultant of the film to Highfunds. The DVD includes a commentary by Howard Marks as well as a featurette with Rise Ifans joining Marks on one of his stand-up shows and impersonating him to the delight of the crowd, with both of them getting intoxicated to the point of incoherence. Mr. Nice was filmed in 2009 in Benidorm, Spain. The film features a 1960s pop-inspired soundtrack by Philip Glass, with the original songs reflective of the era, such as Deep Purple, Fraternity of Man, and John Lennon. While both the book and film are claimed as fact by Marx himself, there are differences between them. Certain portions of the book are missing in the film, such as the amount of time Marx spent organizing deals during the 1980s in places such as Hong Kong, Singapore, and Bangkok, although they are alluded to in the film, just not shown in any great detail. Some of the more interesting aspects of the book are missing from the film entirely, however, such as any mentions of dozens of aliases and disguises Marx had while on the run. Perhaps, perhaps one of the most significant claims in Marx's autobiography was left out of the film for political reasons. Marx claimed to have been befriended by Lord Moynihan, a British peer involved in vice scandals. Marx alleged Lord Moynihan betrayed him to the American Drug Enforcement Administration in a plea bargain, although there is no mention of this in the film.